Is it possible, dude, that these people, this group, took the teachings or the philosophies or the principles of Saturn worshiping and applied it to Satanism, which is kind of like, Saturn, Satan. We got, Santa, whatever. We got all these words that kind of start moving letters around and they mean different things. Is it possible that they took the beliefs of Saturn worshiping, put it on Satanism and go, oh, Satan, look, he's the bad guy. Don't look over here to this black cube that's like you find in all these religions.
That's exactly it. Because, I mean, I hate to kind of using this as an example, but, you look at the Muslim religion. I mean, why, again, I'm just kind of bringing this up. Why are they walking around a black cube in the center? They're like worshiping a cube. You also think about going back to like the Jewish. They're not the rabbis, but like the Zionist Jewish priest things. They have a black cube that's like right on their head.
They put one on their arm too at specific times.
So it's just like there's and then also you think about it, when we graduate from college or from schools, we wear a square on our head. We are literally students of Saturn.
Yes, dude.
Now also, just to kind of, we did a whole episode on this. I'm not sure if you guys had seen it, but the hexagon is a cube, right? And that the hexagon represents Saturn. It's on Saturn. The cube represents the hexagon. Okay, so that's why they're using a cube. And there's a hole in the middle of that hexagon on the top of Saturn. And in New York City, there's a bunch of cubes all over the city, one at Astor Place, and then here you go.
Actually,
then there's one near the 9/11 memorial too. That's a red cube, and that has a hole in it, and so does the one at Astor Place has a hole in it as well, and it looks very similar to the hexagon on the top.
Oh my God!
Now the cube that's in Astor Place. Astor is one of the 13 bloodline family names, and then the one that's right near the 9/11 memorial is right in front of the Harriman Brown building, and the Harriman name is a subfamily of, I think it is like the Russell bloodline or something like that.
Yeah.
So the Russell bloodline is one of the 13 families. Now, if you go back into ancient Rome, we were talking about this, like the whole, like maybe Saturn was a sun in the sky and all of that stuff. Well, there's a lot of evidence. You can kind of go look at David Talbot's research. He wrote a book called The Saturn Myth. And they were using this symbol that is the moon and the star.
The crescent.
Right?
Yes.
Think about how many different things in the culture revolve around.
Yes.
Even China's own flag has stars in a crescent shape and a star. Okay? And so basically the crescent and the star represent Saturn. That was the sign of Rome, which was originally called Saturnia.
Yes.
All of Italy was called Saturnia, and they had that symbol and they were always trying to get it back to this golden age thing.
Yeah. Well, and that's especially when, human sacrifice really started becoming very apparent, in that culture during that time period. So you start looking at this and it's just like, oh my gosh, all of these things starts bringing in the human sacrifice element to it.
So now, along with that, right, if you start looking at the astrological symbol for Saturn, the astrological symbol for Saturn is basically like a cross with this
looks like an H kind of
coming out. Okay. Now that also Saturn another word for Saturn is Chronos. Chronos is time, and that's also where the Grim Reaper came from, and the Grim Reaper has a sickle, right? Okay, so if you look at that, you start seeing that symbol everywhere too. So all of these different symbols that are in our society, whether it be Saturn, the rings of Saturn, the cube, the hexagon, the astrological symbol for Saturn, or the sickle, the crescent with the star, is being used in all of these logos and all of that stuff all over the place, including the most important one, which is the communist flag.
Yeah, because if you take the Saturn astrological symbol and you separate the two, it literally comes out as the hammer and sickle.
It's they're putting it in our face. They're just throwing it in our face.
They just
you can type in like hammer, sickle, and then type in like Saturn sign, and it's like you start seeing it.
Unbelievable. Now, if you also take a look at Kronos and the myth of Kronos, or the story of Kronos, was that he was told that his children would eventually come and kill him. So when his wife had children, he would eat the children whole.
Damn, he had a lot of children.
Yeah, I mean,
Blue Chew.
He's getting that Blue Chew. So he's eating the children, and supposedly his wife has one child. She knows he's going to eat it, so she ships him out, and he doesn't get. And the guy comes back, and his son comes back and kills him. Well, that's probably where child sacrifice comes from, eating the children.
Exactly.
It's Kronos.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
exactly.
the cannibalism, now we're back to cannibalism again, the Canaanites, right? We're back to cannibalism. We're back to abusing children. And we're back to, like, I mean, all of this stuff. Like, that's where a lot of this culture is coming from that. And then when you start to try to talk to people about this and have a normal conversation, of course, it's not going to be a normal conversation, but at least like a reasonable like conversation that this stuff actually out there is, what happens? Well, we're all trained to call that person crazy for talking